All right, hello internet. What you're looking at right now is 25% of what I call my modular House of the Dead arcade machine. House of the Dead is my favorite arcade game of all time, and I've always wanted to have a dedicated machine in my nerd room, but I've lived in 1-2 bedroom apartments for years and now live in a townhouse condo, which is also not very big. So to have a dedicated machine that I could easily move in and out of pretty much any space, what I did was bought a homemade Midway Mortal Kombat 2 style cabinet, chopped off the front and the top, and the control panel also comes off. So this machine can be separated into 4 pieces and moved into pretty much any space. This piece right here is 27 inches wide by 28 and 5/8 inches deep and 63 and 5/8 inches tall. So as long as you can get this piece into your doorway, you can get the entire machine pretty much anywhere. So I'll show you this piece real quick. This side art is on both sides. I made this with scans of new old stock artwork that I've collected over the years. Swing around the back. Just one simple plug, a computer style plug, goes into this HAP power supply, which they still make today and you can get pretty much anywhere. Off of this power supply, there's a 120 volt plug, which is what plugs into the surge protector, and then the voltage plug for the PCBs powers all this. So everything comes on in one shot when power is applied to the power supply. And we are running a Nano MS8 26U monitor, medium res, and it is just absolutely stunning. The picture on it is amazing. But in order to show you the picture, we got to put this thing together. So what I'm going to do is show you the other 3 pieces that we need to get this thing up and running. All right, here is the front section of the House of the Dead arcade machine. This houses the coin door and the test panel, which has the volume and the degauss for the monitor. So let's bring this into the other room and I'll show you how it connects. All right, here we are with the coin door piece in front of the cabinet. So this piece is also on wheels, so it can slide very easily to this. And we got these 6 pieces of wood that go on the inside of the cabinet, and then each piece has 3 screws, so you can securely fasten this piece to the main cabinet. Try to do this with one hand. We'll see how it goes here. Just like that. And before I screw these in, it's very important that you make sure that it's flush with the cabinet so the screws go into the hole. All right, I'm just going to connect a few of these screws and then I'll show you how it wires. All right, I just put 2 screws in this side and this side, and now it's all one piece. I usually only do those 4 screws, but obviously you have the option to do all 3 of them on each of the 6 pieces of wood if you really want to secure that. So there's now 4 connections that we have to make between this piece and the main cabinet, and I'll show you those right here. So here's 3 of them. And what I've done is added these colored zip ties to make it easier to know which plugs in where. And all the plugs are keyed, so you can't really screw it up. So we got this PJ1 right here, which is yellow. PJ2, which is pink. DEG1, which I just wrote as degauss for the monitor, which is blue. And then on the inside here, for the sound potentiometer, we have this one, which is S, and that's orange. And then if we look over here, on the main cabinet, here's the S, which is orange, so that'll plug to here. DEG1 for the degauss, blue. And then PJ1 and PJ2, pink and yellow. And all you do is connect those 4, and then this piece is all ready to go. So let me do that real quick and I'll show you that after. All right, so we now have our 4 connections between the coin door modular and the main cabinet done. This is for the sound potentiometer, the orange pieces, the gauze switch, the 2 blue, PJ2 and PJ1 for the control panel and also the coin door stuff. And then you'll notice that we have 1 piece left labeled CP. This is for the control panel, which is the next piece that we're going to have to attach. All right, here's the control panel detached from the cabinet. So we'll bring this into the other room and we'll need these 4 bolts right here to connect it to the main cabinet. All right, we now got the control panel attached to the cabinet, so let me open it up and show you how it connects. All right, we got the guns resting on the ground, and just like a Mortal Kombat control panel, this is on a hinge, so we can pull this right up. Show you the inside real quick. So the 4 bolts I showed you in the other room, the ones with the smaller washers go here and here. And there's also latches if you want to secure the top piece. And then the 2 bolts with the bigger washers screw into the bottom. Coming off of the control panel, we just got this 1 plug labeled CP with the green zip tie. And we have the matching plug from the main cabinet to plug into it. So let me go ahead and plug that in real quick. All right, and there it is, just 1 connector from the cabinet to the control panel, and the control panel is wired up and ready to go. And one other thing I wanted to show real quick is that this cabinet uses HAP guns, and pretty much all HAP guns use this style wiring. So what I've done is color-coded the wiring on the control panel to match a HAP gun. HAP guns are still readily available, and you can get used ones on eBay. And all you have to do is unplug the HAP gun and plug the new one into this connector and just make sure that the wiring, the colors are lined up. All right, let me reconnect that and we'll grab the last piece of the cabinet. And here's the last piece of the cabinet, which is a marquee box that I built that also has a Sega neon light on top, which is really cool. So this plugs into the cabinet with 2 standard electrical plugs and secures to the cabinet with these 4 bolts. So let's bring this into the other room and I will show you how it connects. All right, we got the marquee box on top of the cabinet, and just swing around the back, real back, to show you that we got the 2 cords right here. These feed down into this hole in the cabinet. And then on the back of the marquee box, we got these 4 holes that will line up with these 2 brackets. And then the bolts will screw into the back of the marquee box to secure it to the cabinet. So let me do that real quick and I will show you afterwards. Okay, so we got the 4 bolts in the back of the marquee box, and down inside the cabinet is just a regular extension cord, and that's where the 2 plugs go into. And one really quick thing too is that both the neon light and the marquee light have a switch, so you can turn them on and off if you should want to. I usually leave this in the cabinet. All right, last thing to do is plug it in and show you how it plays. All right, and there you have it, a fully dedicated House of the Dead arcade machine that you can take apart into 4 pieces and fit in pretty much any space, just like my tiny basement here.
Others are still inside. Save them.